Today we're going to talk about present and past habits, the things we do regularly or as a routine in the present time and the past time. Let's start with the present. So we usually use present simple to talk about things that we regularly do in the present. We can use adverbs of frequency with the present simple to show how often we do these routine habits. For example, Joe usually visits his grandma at weekends. Nazia is always late for class. Tanya never has a pen in her bag. I go to the gym twice a week. Ahmed watches TV every day after school. Sabina cooks fish on Sundays. So the present simple, we have visits, is, has, go, watches, cooks. The adverbs of frequency in these sentences, we've got usually, always, never, twice a week, every day, on Sundays. So they show us how often the action happens. Now, if we look at the past habits, we can use the past simple with an adverb of frequency to show past habits. We need to say when the action happened though, because with past simple, we need some kind of time frame. For example, Joe usually visited his grandma at weekends when he was a child, for example. Nazia was always late for class when she studied at university. Tanya never had a pen in her bag at school. I went to the gym twice a week before I got married. Ahmed watched TV every day after school. We don't need to add another time for that one because after school already shows when it happened. Maybe he's not at school now. Sabina cooked fish on Sundays in her country, for example. Okay, so these all show these actions happened in the past, how often they happened, and an approximate time frame to tell us when. We can use used to with a time to talk about regular past actions or past states. For example, Joe used to visit his grandma at weekends when he was younger. Nazia always used to be late for class at university. Anya never used to have a pen in her bag at school. I used to go to the gym twice a week before I got married. Ahmed used to watch TV every day after school. Sabina used to cook fish on Sundays in her country. We don't have to say when with used to, because used to already shows us that the action happened in the past and does not happen anymore. So we use used to show regular actions or states in the past. They no longer happen now. We can use an adverb of frequency to show how often if we want. So as I said, the action is not done now. And this is very important. So you can't say, I used to go to the cinema every month if you still go to the cinema every month. Okay. For example, I used to watch TV after school. Now I don't have time. Or now I don't go to school. He used to be famous, but now people have forgotten him. Or Maybe they don't recognize him anymore because he's changed so much. To form used to, we have the subject with used to and the infinitive. For example, he used to wash up after dinner. To make the negative, we have the subject with didn't used to and the infinitive. For example, he didn't used to cook the dinner. We can use never with the positive form to give a negative meaning. For example, he never used to cook the dinner. That has the same meaning as he didn't used to cook the dinner. Okay. And to make a question, we have did with the subject and then used to and the infinitive. For example, did he used to clean the kitchen? Important thing to note is for negative sentences and questions, we need used to, not used to. We don't need the D. That's a very common mistake, so don't make that mistake. So we can also use would and a time frame to talk about habits in the past or routine actions in the past. We can't use would for a state verb though. For example, Joe would visit his grandma at weekends when he was a child. Nazia always would be late for class? No, that's a state verb, so we can't use it with would. Tanya never would have a pen in her bag. That is also a state verb, so we can't use would. For these two examples, we would just use used to. Nazia always used to be late. Tanya never used to have a pen in her bag. Have can sometimes be an action verb, so we could use would. For example, I would have lunch at 12 o'clock when I was at school. A regular action, whereas have a pen is a state. Would go to the gym twice a week. Ahmed would watch TV every day after school. Sabina would cook fish on Sundays in her country. Okay. To summarize, we can use the present simple with an adverb of frequency to talk about present habits, present routines, regular actions in the present. For the past, we can use the past simple with an adverb of frequency and a time frame. Or we can use used to. We don't have to have an adverb of frequency, but we can. We don't have to say when, because it's clear it was in the past, but we can if we want to be a bit more specific. We can use would with an adverb of frequency if we want, and when to talk about actions that happened regularly in the past, not states. We can also use not anymore or not any longer if we want to contrast a regular past action with the present. So we can say, for example, I used to walk to school, but I don't anymore. Have a look at these sentences. They all contain a mistake. See if you can spot the mistake and try to correct it. Pause here for a minute while you do that. Let's check. The first one, they don't usually go out in the evening. It's a present thing because they have little children now, so they don't usually go out in the evening now. They broke up after they finished university. They used to break up means that it happened regularly. But if you break up, that can only be one time. So they broke up after they finished university. We usually go on holiday every year. Not used to, because every year it still happens. I didn't used to like my physics teacher. We don't need the D, that common mistake when we've got the negative. Sarah used to see John every day as a child. Used to. We need the D in a positive sentence. We love the theatre. We usually go to a play once a month. It's a regular action. We love the theatre now. We do this now. He would be very interested in art many years ago. That has to be, we used to be interested. We used to be very interested, because be is a state verb and we can't use it with would. He used to smoke. He doesn't smoke anymore. Anymore goes after the verb. And the last one, did you used to live in London? Again, without the D, because we don't have that in questions. Thank you for watching.